Hey, my name is Johnny Martin. I'm the National Director of Graduate Performance for Veterans Future Foundation. I have the honor and privilege to serve our amazing population of graduates all across the country and help oversee a great team of graduate performance specialists where we really work to serve our veterans and active duty service members in three main ways. One is mental performance, to continue to get the daily reps the same way they do in the gym or on the track or out in the field, but to get the daily reps around sharpening the sword mentally. The other lane that we are really passionate about and is an ethos of ours is in career advancement, working really hard to align our brothers and sisters up with careers that not only are well-paying and provide longevity, but also that align with our community's passions and interests. And the last piece that we are focused on in VFF is continuing education. We believe that lifelong learning and real learning is not confined to the walls of traditional classrooms. And so a huge part of my responsibility is to connect our graduates and our VFF members with learning opportunities, not just in their cities and towns, but across the country. I think more than anything else, what I'm most proud of around this work with VFF is the strength of the community that we build. I think human beings really are innately born with the desire for three really important things, and these are things that we try to embed in everything that we do at VFF. One is belonging. There is so much strength that comes from community, and belonging to a community is something that a lot of these men and women haven't had since their time in service. And so to be reconnected with like-minded folks that have been where they've been, done what they've done, experienced what they've experienced, but to share their growth together, to share their stories of triumph together, to share their goals for the future, and also to share their struggles. Belonging is critically important, and we remind ourselves of that all the time. The second is belief. As human beings, we want to believe in something. And VFF provides the opportunity to strengthen those beliefs through that community, through that belonging. And lastly, we're all striving for something. And when we were in uniform and when our members were in uniform, what they were striving for oftentimes was well defined, and that was defined by their mission or their job or their deployment or their skill set. And so it's difficult in transition to really identify without being told, without having a standing set of orders, without having an SOP. What am I allowed to strive for? What can I do in my life to fill the pages of the book with the stuff that means the most to me? Now that somebody isn't telling me what I have to fill the pages of those books with. So for me and my work, I try very hard to be mindful of those three really innate, strong needs for growth, and that is belonging, belief, and striving. My motivation for joining VFF, I share this story openly with people all the time. For me, all of this happened by accident. My background, professionally, my background is in education and counseling and psychology. I am not a veteran. My father is an Army medic in the Vietnam era. My brother is a veteran. And nearly 6 years ago, I was in New York City and I had a chance to meet Matt Hesse, founder and CEO of UHP. And on that day, I learned about what was FitOps at the time, what is now VFF. I felt compelled to do more than just say thank you for your service. I wanted to find a way to give thanks. And I spoke to Matt and talked to him a little bit about what I had done for nearly 20 years in the counseling and mental performance space. And I asked if I could volunteer at camps across the country. And through that volunteer work, my life was changed because of the connections that I was able to make with veterans from every branch of service, every job, and every walk of life. And so nearly 5.5 years ago, I walked away from what was a 21-year career and all that came with it. And I jumped all the way in with VFF, where I started as just director of graduate support. It was a team of one, and that was me. And we fast forward to the conversation that we're having today, and now we have over 1,200 active duty service members and veterans all across the country that are involved with the Veterans Future Foundation Network. We have an amazing team of VFF graduate performance specialists, operations folks, the Dirt Therapy Project, executive leadership, where we can get out and not only continue to try to empower our community, but give our men and women involved with the community the opportunities to empower themselves and each other. And so what started off as volunteer work for me has turned into not only a full-time job, but has turned into an absolute passion. And I couldn't imagine, as we sit here today, I really couldn't imagine with where I'm at in my life professionally and personally, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Sometimes it's difficult to measure the direct impact on an individual veteran or service member through our work at VFF. We work very strongly under the construct that we are not the experts on anybody. People are the experts on themselves. Our men and women are the experts on themselves. And what we have seen is the more they stay engaged with VFF programming, the more the needle moves in their lives in the areas that matter most to them. And so in terms of measuring impact by the numbers, we absolutely notice a very significant increase in the participation of weekly calls, of our guest speaker calls, of chances for our members to get involved with things in and around their community. But what's really unique, not just about this foundation, but about our members, is that all of them have stories that are unique to them. And in order for us to really create programming and create services that are most beneficial to our population, we have to listen to them. We have to be very curious about where they've been, where they're going, what they've already tried, what they are willing to step into as advocates for their own lives, to take agency over their own growth. So there isn't one way to measure the impact. One of the things that I pay very close attention to are the individual conversations and the group conversations that I have a chance to have daily and weekly with our population. And I ask them the tough questions about not just their growth, but what we can do a better job of. One of the things that I love most about VFF is we are constantly, as a team, trying to improve. One of the best ways that we can improve is by listening to our population. When we talk about success stories, they're countless. There are so many. One of the stories that I've been very fortunate to hear multiple times, and it will always be the most impactful for me, is how this community and the work that they've been able to do with their brothers and sisters within this community has not just changed or improved their lives, but has literally saved their lives. I don't know that you can measure that type of impact. You certainly can't measure it monetarily. There's no amount of money that I could ever get paid that would measure that impact. There's no data that can measure that type of impact. But one of the things that keeps me driven and hungry every single day to do this work are the conversations and the statements that I've heard from several people that have said to me, Johnny, this program and these people have saved my life. There is no greater impact than that on another human being's life. To be able to hear that from another human being that is now thriving, that is being a more productive husband or wife, a more productive father or mother, a more productive member of the community in the work that we do here at VFF, there is no greater impact than that. Veterans and civilians alike, a little bit more in the veteran population because of the amount of pride associated with their time in service, their mission set. One of the biggest challenges that we see in transition is the willingness and the courage to seek help. Many times throughout their veteran experiences, asking for help or being vulnerable or opening up to their brothers or sisters or command staff, oftentimes that's viewed as weakness. The military has made tremendous strides in opening the doors to vulnerability so that men and women can hold space for one another within their units, within their specific jobs. But a huge challenge that I see day to day is many veterans, what makes them unique is that they have been called or chose to serve. And when we form that definition in our minds and in our hearts around what service means, many of them for not just 4 years, but many of them for 8 years, 12 years, 25, 30 years, their entire life's mission has been in service to others. And one of the challenges they face when they get out and when they transition is, how do I ask for help to improve growth in my own life? And so that is a significant challenge, is opening up the doors to vulnerability, to curiosity, and to creating a welcoming and psychologically safe place where all of our members know that this is a place that they can ask for help. Another significant challenge that we see often in the career advancement category is making the translation with all of the soft skills that they learned in the military. And how do we make that language civilian-friendly language so that when they read a job description or see a job posting, they don't automatically say, well, looked at the job description and the skills required, and I don't have any of those skills. Well, they do. They not only do they have those skills, but they often have far more than the average person coming off the street that may have just spent 4 years in college but has not lived anywhere near the amount of life that these men and women have lived in leadership positions as it relates to adaptability, thriving in environments of stress, being able to pivot and adjust. All of these things that are crucial to be successful in the civilian workplace, our men and women have mastered those skills throughout their military career. And so one of the challenges that we are working to overcome all the time is how we can take all of those soft skills that they learned in the military and translate them into civilian language so they become not only appealing, but absolutely wanted and needed by civilian employers. One of the things that's unique about VFF is we are constantly and consistently looking to collaborate with other partners in not just the veteran nonprofit space and not just the veteran space overall, but we are looking to collaborate with people from all over the country that align with our mission of empowering active duty service members and veterans to live thriving, fulfilled lives. Some of our greatest partnerships now are through the University of Health and Performance, where every graduate that comes through UHP, any program, whether certified personal training course, integrative health coaching course, any graduate that comes through a UHP program is automatically invited at no cost for the rest of their lives into the Veterans Future Foundation. We have an amazing partnership as well with Team Red, White, and Blue, with over 300,000 members and growing across the country, where our members can find Team RWB chapters in or near their cities and towns to get involved with that community, that sense of belonging that is so important. They can get involved with the community to help foster and strengthen their beliefs. They can get involved with those communities through Team RWB to continue to strive in health and wellness and in mental performance. We have a phenomenal partnership with Operation Homefront Village, where we are providing transitional housing on our campus in Northwest Arkansas to transitioning military veterans and their families. So we are constantly seeking new ways to partner with like-minded organizations that at their core are centered around the mission of empowering veterans. One of the things that we are currently most excited about in VFF is a formalized mentorship program. If you look at the data across the country on the efficacy surrounding mentorship and solid partnerships between mentor and mentee, it can be a tremendous catalyst for professional growth in the lives of our VFF members. So one of the things that we are standing up this year that we think is going to be extremely powerful is connecting our VFF members, those that choose to get involved, with best-in-class mentors across all areas of professional life. Currently, we have mentees connected with mentors in the business and entrepreneurial space. We have mentees connected with best-in-class health and fitness providers. We have mentees connected with health and wellness coaches. And so the goal of this mentor program is to expose our VFF members to one-on-one, consistent and guided programming through the lens of the mentor to help our veterans get a jump start into their professional careers. Oftentimes, leaders within their respective organizations, in this case, our nonprofit, we constantly brainstorm different ways to keep our population engaged. One of the things that I think leaders miss the most, not just in our space, but in leadership positions in general, is that we don't ask enough of our population. And what I've found is one of the greatest ways to gauge what they need, what they're looking for, what they'd like to see more of, is by asking them and holding the space for them to answer honestly, and being okay to have the tough conversation and to listen to things that I, as a leader within this organization, may not want to hear, but I need to hear to keep getting better. So one of the greatest ways that we want to gauge what we can do a better job of is by opening up space for our members, for our veterans to say, Johnny and team, this is what we would like to see more of and why. The greatest advice that we can ever get in terms of how to create best-in-class programming is by listening to our people. And most of the time, organizations and leaders across the country, they don't do that enough. We sit in our chairs and we assume that because we have a background and training and experience and knowledge in these areas, that we assume we know what's best for our population. I never work under that assumption. I never work under that ethos. I work under the ethos that our people are the experts on themselves. And the only way that I will know, and the most powerful way that I will know if we are doing good work, is by asking them and being prepared to have the tough conversation. When we talk about think, train, feel, and lead, and we look at and we break those down simply and powerfully. Think, move your mind. Train, move your body. Feel, be honest about your emotions. And lead, live every day that's in alignment with your values. All of that stuff sounds great on paper, and it sounds even better to say. At VFF and in my own work, I am a big believer in action, the doing of the work. So we talked often in our community about think, train, feel, and lead, but we talk about it from a practical lens. So when we look at the think pillar, what is one way that you can learn something new today? It's one thing to say, move your mind. It's another thing to say, on Tuesday, what are you going to do to learn something new? Train, move your body. What have you done today to move your body? For everybody, it's different. We have people that are passionate about barbell training, kettlebell training, endurance running, CrossFit, mixed martial arts. So our population of 1,200 and growing, they have passions that are unique to them and also unique to some of their brothers and sisters. So when we say train, move your body, what are you doing today to pour into the things that you love to do physically? Feel, know your emotions. The concept of emotional honesty is really important. Choosing who has earned all of you or enough of you to share openly and honestly about how you're feeling in the moment. Understanding those feelings will pass if we step into them, acknowledge them, and do our best to work through them. And lastly, lead. Live every day in alignment with your values. At VFF, we work consistently on values-based living. But before we can live in a way that aligns with our values, we have to establish those values. We use the term values all the time. It's a great cliche, it's a great hashtag. People throw it around all the time. But do we know what values really mean? These are our no matter what's in life. Our values help us answer the most difficult questions of the day. And so with our VFF members that have been with our community for a long time, or those that join us, and the things that we spend a lot of time on is establishing our no matter what's. And throughout their journey with VFF, we revisit those values regularly because our lives change every day. And so our values are going to change as well. I'm asked often why this work matters so much to me. When you have a chance, as I have, and an opportunity to work with active duty service members and veterans, it's very easy to say thank you for your service. It's very common to take a moment to pause and reflect on why we have all of the things that we have in this country. And that came on the heels of the American warfighter, long before I was born. And that continued to be the case long after I'm gone. For me, maybe it's because I didn't serve. Maybe it's because I didn't have the courage to serve. Maybe it's because life presented me with other opportunities. But what matters most to me today about this work is I get to pour into a population of people that are literally my heroes. We emulate and we want to be like the entertainers, the movie stars, the musicians, the professional athletes, the jet setters, the corporate entrepreneurs. Well, I want to pattern my life after the men and women that I get to serve every day. And so for me, there's nothing better professionally than being able to pour into a population that literally and figuratively have given me and my family everything. I often reflect on when this journey first started for me, working with the veteran population. And oftentimes I laugh, and when I started this journey, I was very scared. I had done this work professionally for a long time. I felt confident in my abilities, and I'd done this work across almost every arena you can imagine. I had worked with adolescents and families. I had worked in correctional facilities doing outreach work. I had worked with professional athletes and folks in entertainment, but I had never worked with the American military before. And when I first started this journey, I was very concerned about whether I would earn my place in the room. You have to earn your place in the room with these men and women because they have earned their place in this country. They have earned this place in their service. They have earned this place in their unit. They have earned their uniform. They have earned the right to wear that flag on their uniform. And I didn't think I would earn my way into the room. And so looking back on my experience, what I am most proud of is that I've earned my way into the room. And I hope to continue to do that every day I'm blessed enough to do this work. One of the things we are super excited about is something we are calling a VFF affiliate program. We're going to launch this program across the country, and to become a VFF affiliate, what you are telling your business, what you are telling your patrons, what you are telling your community is that you support military veterans. How are we going to ask you to do that through VFF? We are going to ask that you make a yearly contribution that's renewable, and you're going to proudly display a sticker on your business that says we support Veterans Future Foundation and we support our veterans. Those dollars that businesses help us generate not only are going to provide amazing educational and health and wellness and outdoor recreation opportunities for our members, but our hope in developing this affiliate program is that folks within their communities, once one person puts that sticker and puts that flag up in their business, that others will start to get curious within the community. And it's when we engage in those curious conversations around how can we really have an impact on the veteran population? How can we really show that we support the veteran population? Well, sure, it's by making donations that helps us keep driving our mission, but more than that, it engages a community to say, man, there are men and women out there that were willing to sacrifice all of it for us. And if I'm a business leader in my community, if I own a gym, if I own a spa, if I own a brick and mortar business, what I'm telling everybody else is I am willing to contribute in a small way or a large way to benefit a United States military member as they work to transition and craft a life that aligns with their values, their purpose, and their passion.